India is hosting the G20 tourism meeting in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir tomorrow. Now, this is the first international event in the region after the Indian government scrapped its special status in 2019. The government is keen on showcasing Jammu and Kashmir's tourism potential and strengthen its economic growth. Officials say hosting the event in Srinagar will send an important message to the world that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. At least 60 foreign delegates are expected to attend the G20 forum amid heightened security in the region. Security has been tightened on India's international borders as well. The Special Water Wing of India's Border Security Force, the BSF, has increased its patrolling in the Chenab River. They have deployed additional boats in the river located near the international border in Jammu ahead of the summit. According to the chief coordinator for G20 presidency, delegates will discuss the potential of film tourism as well as sustainable ecotourism, while excursions of the delegates are being held in the city of Srinagar.
We have had the highest representation of foreign delegations in the tourism working group, the third tourism working group in Srinagar, than we have had in the previous working group meetings. But what is more important, I think, is that we have tried to bring in specific elements of tourism, as Secretary mentioned, whether it is sustainable tourism, eco-tourism, adventure tourism, film tourism, what is relevant to J&K and what is relevant to the Union Territory and the people of this place is what is being highlighted in this tourism working group meeting.
Opposing India's choice for the G20 meeting venue, China says it will boycott the event, claiming it is being organized in a disputed region. This drew a sharp response from India, claiming it is free to hold the G20 meet on its own turf. According to reports, Turkey, Saudi Arabia and Egypt are yet to register for the meeting. According to reports, India has called out Pakistan's attempt to stop OIC leaders from attending the G20 in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, with J&K undergoing a makeover and a three-tier security in place, all eyes will be on Jammu and Kashmir tomorrow as it hosts G20 Tourism Summit. WION's correspondent Idris Lone spoke to Arvind Singh, Indian Tourism Secretary, on the G20 preparations and response it has got till now.
Joining me is Secretary Tourism Arvind Singh. Sir, first of all, I would like to ask you, how much excitement is there of holding G20 tourism meet in the Kashmir Valley?
Of course, it's a very important event because, as I have been repeatedly saying, you cannot do any meeting on tourism in India and not do it in Jammu and Kashmir, which is one of the very important tourist centers in India. But the meeting here has generated a lot of interest, and we have found a great amount of, very strong and genuine efforts done by the local administration, the Union Territories administration, who put in a lot of effort. Also, a great response from civil society, from students, school students, university students who have taken part in events related to that. So all in all, there is a great, excitement about this event in the region.
All right, for more on this, joining us on Fine Print, we have with us Ashok Sajjanhar, a former Indian diplomat who was the ambassador to Kazakhstan, Sweden and Latvia. Welcome to the broadcast, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Sajjanhar, the international event in Jammu and Kashmir with the G20 in attendance, is this solely to boost Kashmir's tourism, or is there a larger message that India is sending to those who consider the region disputed?
Yes, I think tourism is definitely one of the very important reasons. As Secretary Tourism just now said, having a tourism meeting in India and not coming to Jammu and Kashmir, I think that would be quite incongruous. But to respond to your question, yes, there is a larger message also. I think there is a strategic message. There is a political message, declaring loud and clear that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral and inalienable part of India. You see, the point is that if the tourism working group meeting were to be held at different places, as the first two working group meetings have been held, and not holding it in Jammu and Kashmir would have sent out a very negative message, would have sent out a very wrong message. That means India itself is not convinced of the position that it is, this is an integral part of the country, because we are holding these 200 meetings in about 59 cities of the country. We've gone to Itanagar, we've gone to Leh Ladakh, we've gone to all the places. And why shouldn't we come to Srinagar? Srinagar is the epitome of tourist attractions.
Right.
And for the people to come, delegates to come, have a look, I think it makes perfect sense to have the meeting here.
So having it here was an obvious choice. It's, that's exactly where India stands on the region. Now, sir, China boycotting the meet. How should the move be seen in the wake of China and Pakistan's budding ties?
I think we should ignore it completely because, China has been making these absolutely untenable statements, whether it is with regard to Arunachal Pradesh, our ministers, our prime minister should not go there. Also, they had raised, taken the matter to the UN Security Council in August of 2019 when Article 370 was abolished. And China's contentions and China's objections were thrown out by the UN Security Council. Not even a meeting took place, not even a report was taken on that particular issue. And I think what China is saying on this is totally hypocritical because, if it is worried about no action taking place in a disputed territory, it itself has constructed the China-Pakistan economic corridor through Gilgit-Baltistan, which is a disputed territory, which it has recognized in its agreement with Pakistan as a disputed territory. But when it comes to itself, it goes out and constructs this $60 billion worth of China-Pakistan economic corridor.
Yes.
It doesn't strike it at that time that this is a disputed territory, but for holding a meeting, it's, brings up this position. So I think its position is totally hypocritical and needs to be ignored and rejected.
So China's baseless claims, as they've been doing in the past, should just be considered as hypocrisy and should be left alone, should be ignored. So let's focus now on India. As the world is getting more polarized with the ongoing war, how should we look at India's role in the rapidly changing world order at the moment?
Yeah, I think India has really emerged for a variety of reasons as a partner of choice for most countries in the world and also has become indispensable to seeking solutions to some of the most intractable challenges that confront the world, whether it is climate change, whether it is terrorism, whether it is health, education, or achieving the sustainable development goals. I think India has become indispensable to seeking solutions. And that is why you see whether it is at the G7, G20, it is the holding the presidency of G20 today. And it has also emerged as the voice of the global South. Yes. In terms of taking on board and bringing to the negotiating table the issues that really are challenges, are concerns for the developing world, particularly, when there is this huge geopolitical churn is taking place, as you mentioned yourself, right. Whether it is with the COVID-19 pandemic or it is the Russia-Ukraine conflict, whether it is the supply chain disruptions or it is shortages of food or energy or fertilizers, or it is the debt issues that is racking so many developing countries, or it is inflation. So I think all these are issues which are affecting all countries of the world, but particularly the developing countries. And in that context, India and Prime Minister Modi has emerged as their voice. He articulated that in G7. And also, India will take it on board in the G20 deliberations.
Right. Absolutely correctly said, sir. India is emerging as the voice of the global South. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast, sir. That was Mr. Ashok Sajjanhar joining us on the broadcast.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you.